so sad the other night when I thought I was going to miss you guys, and we are back, and TikTok's back. Yay. I'm feeling much better, Connie. Thank you. I know Tacoma, it's so bad. Yeah. Um, yeah, it hit me this weekend, and I really don't feel as bad as I sound now. This weekend, I felt like total crap, and then yeah, it was funny because then TikTok shut down, and then it was all just a mess. So I was like, okay, it was like the TikTok world actually gave me a break because I don't, I don't think I needed a break, but yeah. So I promise you guys, every night that y'all show up, I'm going to be here unless I have zero voice at all, which is pretty darn close right now. But I am so grateful you guys are here. You could be a million places right now. And it's especially like, as much as you guys show up for me, I think that you have been like since the very beginning. Thank you, Connie. Like since the very beginning, like when I first like got into TikTok, you've been here. So this must be like your evening entertainment, like versus, I don't know, Netflix or something. So I feel so privileged that I get to be hanging out with you guys every night. I feel like you're my best friend. So it's super, super cool. And I'm really looking forward as well. Six on my cream, I can't believe. Oh, I'm so glad you're feeling good, Connie. That's so amazing. She's talking about her bioidentical hormone cream. So um, oh, good. Thank you, Tacoma. I'm so glad you've learned so much. And it's kind of like committing to being in college, right? Because it's like the education. And so, it's like coming to class every night. So I know me, I'm like a perpetual learner. So I absolutely love it. And I learn things getting ready for these lives because it forces me to think. Because anytime you have to teach something, you have to go back and look. And, I always go back and make sure that the literature hasn't changed so that when I tell you guys stuff, it's like I want to make sure that it's absolute truth as far as anything that I can find, unless I get disproven, which I always say I love to be disproven. I love to be shown to be wrong because that means I'm learning and that means I'm growing and we're growing together. So yeah, so it's a great opportunity for me too. And I did Facebook Lives for years. I did. So here's my level of commitment to you guys. Just so you know, I'm not kidding. I did over 400 Facebook Lives in a row one year, and every night I didn't care if I was sick. Oh, thank you, Connie. If I was sick, if I was tired, if I was going to go out, where I did them random times. So I like doing this at 7 o'clock every night because it makes me like predictable where I'm going to be, but every single day. And yeah, Facebook actually in the beginning, like this was years ago, Facebook, you had to have so many followers before you would have so much time. So depending on how much time I wanted to do, I had to build up to that. So it's so much fun. But anyway, okay, without much to do, I promise you guys that are in our program, we are going to set up your life this month very soon. It's been a little bit crazy lately. So I promise you, we're trying to decide, shifting things around a little bit since I've been doing all these lives, if we want to do a little earlier or a little bit later. So we can sort that out. If you guys have ideas, email me, Dr. Tammy at hormonebliss.com, and you can tell me when your better times are. Is 22 bad for DHEA with a complete hysterectomy and taking hormone pellets? Well, it's interesting, Dixie, that DHEA converts into testosterone and back and forth. And so 22 isn't necessarily bad for a DHEA level. It would depend on what your testosterone is, really. So that would be a little bit more information that you might want to have because DHEA is going to be regulated according to your liver and testosterone. Yes, and Connie, the Zoom, yay. Yes, so that's a great lead in, Dixie, because we're going to talk about the liver. Oh my gosh. Can any girl be a bigger nerd than me to get excited about the liver? Hi, Carol. The liver. Oh my gosh. You have no idea. And it's crazy because doctors usually don't recognize the liver in patients with the things that are going on unless you have cirrhosis, which is, we usually think of like alcoholics or people with, hep C or things like that. or unless you have cancer of the liver. Otherwise, they might check like their routine blood work every year and check like a CMP, which has your electrolytes and your sugar and your kidney and liver functions. And, unless something's really crazy there, they don't really even ever talk about your liver. So the liver is, I'm going to tell you 30 things, 30, that your liver does that I think will absolutely blow you away. So before we're done tonight, you're going to be like, mind blown. I always love that because I love to like mind blow everybody about everything that our body is so amazing and it does. And the beautiful thing is when you understand all the cool things that it can do, you have your power. You have your power over your body. And we're so disempowered with modern medicine. It's just gross. I talked about the other night about the Flexner report where the Rockefellers in the early 1900s actually started funding medical schools because they wanted to use their petrochemicals from their oil industry to break down and make medications. And they actually, you sound healthy. I'm better. Thank you, Constantina. But they actually started defunding medical schools if they didn't push their agendas, which was to push their petrochemical medications and pharmaceuticals. And so doctors who talk about liver are like quacks. We're like, don't, like they're not real doctors. I'm a medical doctor. I went to school for 14 years. I mean, if I want to talk about the liver, I want to talk about the liver. And you can call me crazy or a quack or whatever, but I think it's just the coolest thing ever. Hi, Alice. So let's get right into all the cool things. Oh, thank you, Constantina. That was sweet. All the cool things that the liver does. And we probably won't even get to all of them tonight. But here's what I was going to do, things a little bit different tonight. Let's see, let's move this so you can see the board a little bit better. My crazy board. So what I was going to do tonight, I'm going to pick blue, this teal. Look, I love this color. It's one of my very, very favorites. Okay, and one of the things I'm going to do tonight is I have 30 things. So there's 12 on this board and there's 30 minus 12 on the other board. You can do the math for me if you want. I have brain fog, so math is not my thing today. Oh yeah, and yesterday I did get it posted. Yesterday's was brain fog, so you can go back and watch the brain fog if you didn't see it. Oh, and I'm live streaming on Facebook right now. Hello, my Facebook world, and Instagram and X and all the things. So you can find me there. And I do ask a favor, especially as we are going into the 90 days. If we have no idea what's going to happen, but I think everything's going to be fine. I'm trusting and believing. If you go to my link in bio, you can Tacoma, I'm just Dr. Tammy or Tammy Hill Tucker, which is my full, that's my personal page. And my business page, you can still friend request me if you want. But like once you fill up with so many friends, they make you go to a business page. But if you like friend request me, I'll go in there. It's funny because people that I invite into my friends, they'll be like, your friend list is full because I think you can only have like 5,000 friends. And I always feel so honored, but like I only know like 20 people in there personally because it just like kind of becomes just, bigger than life. But anyway, yeah, if you friend request me, I'll bump somebody out. Your hormone bliss kit arrived. Yay, Constantina, I'm so excited. This might be the first night you sleep in a long time. I hope. I don't know if that's been a concern, but I'm so excited. I love it. You guys are so amazing. I'm so grateful to you and so grateful that you've made this journey with me and that you're going to help other people because that's what we have to do. We have to do it together and we have to tell people. But yeah, so if you go to the link in bio, if you're new here, you can find all sorts of free downloads. I'm all about education. The more empowered you are, the more you know about your body, the better. So go do those free downloads. But there is an email capture, so we promise we won't sell your emails. I hate that when you go someplace and they're like, oh, we won't sell your email. And like before I'm even walking out of the store, I'm getting some random text message and my email's blowing up. I'm like, really? So anyway, but we don't do that. But that way I'll have your email so we can send information out. And if anything happens to any particular platform, we can still let you know where we're at. as well. So, and if you're new here too, our portal into our membership program is to order a test kit. So if you have never done that before, or you've ever had trouble getting your doctor to check your hormones, then go to hormonebliss.com or go to the link in bio and you can order a test kit. It's a saliva kit and free shipping back to the lab, and a free consult with one of our hormone coaches to get you started. And it's a wonderful group, and I feel so blessed. Test kits on my bathroom counter for tomorrow morning. Yay! Yay! I love it. Des, I'm thinking that's your name. I don't know if that's just a handle, but Des, I like that. That's pretty. That's your name. So awesome, awesome. Get that sent in. And if you have any trouble, just think about lemons or Sour Patch Kids candies, because that'll make you start salivating even more. Okay, I know I rambled on, so I really promise I'm going to get in. You guys feel free to ask questions, and if I'm got my back to you, my wonderful fiance moderator will pull the questions back up for me when he sees me back focused. Sure, yes. And he's reminding me, he's letting me have the TikTok 20. Oh, look at that. Oh, cake. I love cake. And he's reminding me that he let me have the TikTok 20 discount code. So if you want to go order a kit, or if you want to order a kit for a friend or sister or somebody like that, if you at checkout type in TikTok 20, you get $20 off the kit price. So I was like, we have to be able to do this like for our TikTok tribe, because it's one thing if somebody comes from a Facebook ad or something, but you guys are our tribe. So want to continue to take care of you kids. So yeah, so go order a kit. Yes. Okay. And Valentine's Day is coming up. So that'd be a beautiful gift. Check my woman's given for the 6 months. Yeah, absolutely, Connie. Just ask your coach and we can arrange that for you. Somebody asked me today about checking DHEA and cortisol too. We do have that testing available. So the preliminary test, the estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone is our first entrance in, just to show people, because a lot of people don't even know they've got anything going on with their hormones. They suspect it, but it's nice to be able to see it. And so once you're in the program, then we can do other testing too, or the Dutch test, or whatever, blood spot, thyroid, all those things. So yeah, absolutely. So just let your coach know that you want to. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm just like, liver. I love the liver. I'm actually almost done with the menopause metabolism reset, which is mostly a weight loss, but it's really about resetting all of your ovarian hormones, your sex steroid hormones. Remember price for it? Oh yeah, okay. And it's just an amazing work. It's been a labor of love for almost a year, because I wanted to be perfect. I've put out books faster before, but I wanted to make this perfect, and I put so much nerdy science into it. So I'm pulling quite a bit from the book about the liver, because I mean, oh my gosh, I just want to write a whole book on liver, but the book is really, really focused on the liver. So all things metabolism, all things menopause, it's just really, really important to understand these things. And once you do, you have your power back, like I say. Okay, so liver and hormone health. The liver is, we think of it as a digestive organ because it's in there with our intestines and it sits low. We think of like cardiac up here and brain, and then all the rest of this is just digestive stuff. So it's stomach, intestines, the liver, the gallbladder, all that's kind of there, pancreas. We think of it all digestive. But I think of the liver as an endocrine organ. And an endocrine organ is an organ that makes hormones, because it does. And in the medical books, literature, it's not really thought of as an endocrine organ, but it should be. And it also does so many other things. So if you just think of the liver as something that, like alcoholics and they have liver problems or liver cancer and things like that, there's really so much more to the liver. So what I'm going to do is, and it weighs 3 pounds, unless it's full of fat or something like that. But yeah, so when we used to do autopsies, and I did a year of pathology, and we did autopsies. It was cool because we weigh the organs. So the liver is like the heaviest organ, basically. So a little fun fact there. Okay, so 3 pounds of magic. Okay, so the liver converts hormones. So I'm going to go through all of these things, but as I do each one, I'm going to do a little sideboard and draw some stuff for you. I don't know if I'm going to get through all 30 things. We might have to do a part two. And I hope 30 things does not overwhelm you, but they are all so cool. I mean, I can't say enough. Okay. So converts hormones. Okay, so I'm going to pull the board out and show you how the liver converts hormones. Okay, so your liver makes cholesterol. Yes, cholesterol is not a fatty globule ready to cause a heart attack like we're taught. Do you post videos to YouTube? Yes, I absolutely do. So it's Dr. Tammy on YouTube. Dr. Tammy Tucker on YouTube. So yes, they're all on YouTube. I'm streaming to YouTube as well. Okay, so your liver takes cholesterol and it turns it into progesterone. So we're doing all the sex steroid hormones now. So sterol is steroid. So if you've ever had a steroid shot, that is a cortisone shot, which is cortisol. So cortisol is a sex steroid hormone. So cholesterol turns into progesterone, and that turns into your androgens, which are DHEA and testosterone. And then that turns into your estrogens. And there are different kinds of estrogens, your E1, E2, and E3. And some of the things that I'm going to show you as we go on with this is that E1 is the, quote, problematic estrogen. If you guys follow me, you know that there are different kinds of estrogens and that some estrogens can be a little more problematic than others. And this one seems to be the renegade. You know, in every family, let's say there's a family of 3 kids, there's always one kid who's a little bit of a troublemaker. And so E1 is the troublemaker. High androgens and high estrogen. How does it happen if progesterone is low? High androgens and high estrogen. How does that happen if progesterone is low? Well, one of the things that happens is because these convert back and forth into each other, if you are perimenopausal, meaning we'll draw this graph from birth to 100, and at age 50 is about the mid-range, and this is hormones, estrogen, progesterone, all these hormones on this axis, let's say. So as your hormones start to climb here around puberty, your fertile age, and then your hormones are doing this, around perimenopause, which can happen anywhere from 35 to 52, depending, then you start doing this. And so if you start doing that before you bottom out, then you can have any day, you can have high estrogen, high androgens, low progesterone. And so as these are converting back and forth to each other, there is a messaging that happens with the body. So here's a person here, and here's your ovaries. And here's the pituitary in the head. And these hormones are talking back and forth to each other. So you can absolutely have too much estrogen and telling the pituitary gland that we're okay. And then the pituitary gland is saying, no, you really don't, sending out FSH, LH, and all these messages. But you can have things side pathwaying over here, and this can be elevated. And then you can have this up here, and then your progesterone can be low. And yes, although this is a precursor, these all shift around at any given moment, and it all converts. I know it all converts from the brain telling it through your FSH, which tells the follicles and the ovaries what to do. It is fascinating. God is so amazing how he made all this stuff. And I wish that more people knew how all this works, because it's just mind-blowing. So what does that mean? So that means that I know it's cool the liver does that. What does that mean to me? That means that, and I always say, once you go into menopause, which is just a year without periods, by definition, when you go into ovarian failure, what has happened is your ovaries have now run out of the eggs that you're fertilizing every month. And then when that happens, they don't function anymore. And now these feedback hormones are now dependent on your adrenal glands and your liver. So instead of your ovaries making these hormones, now in this phase right here, your liver and your adrenal glands are completely dependent on this process. Could you have a high cholesterol while taking progesterone? You absolutely can have high cholesterol while you're taking progesterone, because what's happening is your body is trying to pump out more cholesterol. And I'm going to talk about that your liver actually makes cholesterol and it actually processes it too. So, in response to any of these hormones dropping low, your body will start making more cholesterol to make more progesterone. So, in any given moment, it can be all over the place. So, just because you have high cholesterol does not mean that your other hormones are regulated properly, which is why the beauty of getting people on bioidentical hormones, we can totally balance that out and we can just give you a nice smooth estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, whatever we're using. And that's going to send the feedback loop back up to say, hey, you don't need to have high cholesterol, or you don't need to keep making more cholesterol. We have plenty. A lot of people think that high cholesterol means a heart attack or a stroke, but actually, when we say cholesterol, we're talking the steroid hormone. When what we talk about is high is the lipid panel. The lipid panel is made up of something called a total cholesterol, triglycerides, HDL. I'm dyslexic. I still have brain fog, kids. Oh my gosh. HDL, LDL, and a coronary risk factor ratio. So high cholesterol is really like we have to break it down, and that's a whole nother conversation. And actually, we could do that tomorrow night if you want, because I'm always thinking of good things to talk about, and stuff will just pop in my head. But I thought because we talked about breasts the other night, and then we gave the uterus its own thing. I was like, the liver needs its own night to talk about stuff. So, oops, hang on just a second. My computer is about to lose its charge. That's weird. Everything's plugged in. Huh. Sorry, guys. That's really strange. Could it possibly be? Oh, there it is. Okay. The cord was acting weird. Sorry. Technical difficulties. Please, liver and cholesterol. Okay. Yeah, I'll do cholesterol tomorrow night. Sure. That sounds good. Okay. So I'll get off of this then, since we're going to do that tomorrow night. But yeah, this is sort of the situation that we're in. So taking a little bit of work off the adrenals and off the liver can be really important. So we do that through bioidentical hormones, and then working probably, yes, absolutely. So your adrenal glands make all the same hormones that your ovaries did before they fail. So if we were going to put the adrenal glands right here, that is not to scale. That is, anybody with adrenal glands that big would be a total mess. But the adrenal glands have 3 different layers. And so if I was going to make a cross section of the adrenal glands, all of these hormones are made by one layer in the adrenal gland. And then this layer regulates sodium, potassium. These are called mineralocorticoids. And then this layer regulates your blood sugar and some of your other hormones too. That's glucose. So the adrenal glands are super interesting. And if you are having trouble with stress, cortisol regulating your blood pressure, your blood sugar, you're diabetic, your adrenals are going to be really compromised. So, okay, so enough about this. Let's see what's next on the liver list. Oh my gosh, at this rate, we're never going to get through the whole liver list. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? Because I want to make sure that you guys have an idea, and we're almost to half of the hour, have an idea of all the things that the liver does. I'm going to go through all these, and we can kind of pick and choose some of these that I want to break down a little bit more specifically. But I want you to get a beautiful picture of what all the liver does before you get overwhelmed to check out, because you're like, oh my gosh, all the things, right? Okay, so the liver converts hormones. We just talked about that. It clears toxins. I don't think there's, most people know that your liver does clear toxins. And so what are toxins? Well, there's over 25 chemicals in the United States that are illegal in other states, which hopefully that will change soon. But that's the toxins we're talking about. There's things in our food supply. There are endocrine disruptors who are messing with us, who are messing with our GLPs and making everybody have to go on weight loss shots. There are things on our food that they're spraying to keep the bugs off of it. There is just everything in our environment. There's plastic in the water bottles. And so there's so many different chemicals that we're dealing with. So your liver does that. Your liver does metabolism. And when we talk about metabolism, it actually generates heat, which calories are a unit of heat, energy. So when you are burning calories, your liver is actually generating that heat to do that. So, and there's a couple of different factors in your metabolism and that heat production, also your thyroid, and also something called brown fat, which I know that sounds creepy, but it's like the fat that's on the back of your neck. And interesting, you guys are so funny. You'll probably bring this back to me. But if you spray cold water on the back of your neck after your shower in the morning, not only will it wake you up, but it actually activates the brown fat, which has a high metabolic exchange rate in it, and like can actually help with weight loss. So, I mean, I'm not telling you that spraying cold water on your back every day is going to make you lose 20 pounds, but over time, activating that brown fat can actually be a thing. And I know that because I actually did my major in biology in college was actually on in brown bears and brown fat and thyroid. So kind of cool. Okay, so metabolism. Oh, I was also going to talk about which forms of doing hormones are best. So the liver, and I kind of got that question kind of weird in there, but the liver recognizes hormones that you take through what we call exogenous. So your body makes hormones, your liver makes its own hormones. But if you don't have ovaries, and we're going to give your body the support it needs to be healthy and to do all the things it does, especially once your ovaries are gone, the forms and the way that you take your BHRT or your hormones, neck hump around 47. And actually the neck hump is more of an adrenal problem. So it's the Dowager's hump. So that's a little bit different than the brown fat that just sits in there. But okay, so the way you take your hormones is very important, because if you take a hormone by mouth, like your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, any of those, your liver has to process it because it's going through your digestive tract. And we call that first pass metabolism. So your liver breaks down all of those hormones into their active forms. And I just talked about the little problematic sister, that E1, that likes to get on the breast receptors and cause all sorts of, increased growth, not necessarily tumors or anything, but she's left unchecked. She's like a little house fire. And then the other little sister, E3, is like fire blanket saying, hey, quit it. So we want that balance, because whether you ever do hormones or not, that process is happening in your body. So when we give you the right hormones in the right balance, and we're checking your levels, and we're not fixing all these things, but balancing all these things, it gives you the best chance. Because whether you do hormones or not, you have an increased risk of breast cancer by not taking hormones when you're flatlined after ovarian failure. So you're actually reducing your risk when you're taking the right stuff in the right route. So when you do a topical, I'm holding this up because this is one of our hormone creams. When you do a topical through a cream, it goes straight into your blood system, your bloodstream, through the capillaries in the skin, and the liver never even knows that you took it. So the liver's off doing its thing, and your body's like, oh, this is great. I have hormones, and I don't have to wait on the liver to make them for me if it's got any time left over from the 30 other things that it's got to do. This is really cool. So yeah, so the forms are very important. So most doctors who know anything about hormones at all do not do oral forms of hormones. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, it makes sense. So here's the thing. Doctors are prescribing girls as young as 9 years old synthetic birth control, which are made from petrochemicals. We talked about that the other night, that have carcinogenic breakdown products. And never once are they saying, that could cause cancer. It's only us menopausal women who have no hormones other than what little our adrenals can eke out and what little the liver has for us, right? And so it's like, it's bioidentical. It's it's organic, it's natural, it's the same stuff our bodies process, and we're taking it through a transdermal route. So to give a woman who is in ovarian failure synthetic hormones by mouth is absolute disaster. And once I tell you all the things that your liver does, you'll see why that is too, because one of the main things is that your liver actually produces clotting factors. So you're not going to want to mess with your liver with taking synthetic hormones and carcinogens because it's just, like, say, a recipe for disaster. Okay, so supplements that can help. I kind of moved this in. I think I started my train of thought with my brain fog that I was going to talk about these things. But in talking about the supplements that help, we can actually put that in a function of the liver is to actually make products that are like your body's own supplements that help your immune system. So your liver actually makes vitamin D. I know liver makes vitamin D. That's actually one of the things on here. So your liver actually produces nutrients that you could go buy at the health food store. So, like vitamin E, vitamin A, I mean, it makes vitamins. It takes fatty substances and it makes those vitamins. So, that's really cool. Um, so, what is fatty liver? And again, that was kind of out of where I was going with that. But fatty liver is your liver actually stores fat. So, when you take in dietary fats, they go there and they just wait to be used. So if your body has a lot of sugar stored up, then it's not going to need to mobilize those fats. And your body preferentially wants to burn dietary fat. I'm not talking about fat cells like the globules all over. Those are adipocytes. We're talking about dietary fat. Okay, so it actually stores fat for use as fatty acid energy. Okay, and it also stores your vitamins. So when you take in vitamin A, D, E, or K, those are fat soluble vitamins, and your B12s and your folates, it actually stores your vitamins there. It not only makes them, but it stores them. So it's kind of like a little storage house, like the health food store for you. And it makes sugar. It's a process that we call gluconeogenesis. It's a big word. It makes me sound smart when I say it, doesn't it? I love it. So, yeah, gluconeogenesis. So, glucose is the gluco. Neo means new, and genesis means to create. So, this is why a lot of people that are diabetics, they're fasting and they check their blood sugars in the morning and their blood sugar's high and they're like, I haven't even eaten anything yet. That's because your liver makes its own sugar. And so if your body is in a state of confusion or you have insulin resistance or diabetes, if the body has registered from the day before or the night before, maybe you ate a big sugar load and you had a big insulin overload, now your blood sugar crashed and then and through the night your body's like, oh, we're going to die if we don't have some sugar. I mean, literally, you'll die if you have like too low blood sugar. So it starts making sugar. And then you wake up the next morning and your blood sugar is like 300, and you're like, what the heck just happened? So it actually makes sugar. Because it makes sugar, that helps you regulate the insulin through the pancreas. And it also stores sugar. So the liver stores up to 400 calories energy source of sugar. So it not only stores dietary fats for you to burn, but it's like just a little, it's like a little store there waiting for you. Like, I need some sugar, or I need some fat. It's like combination of what has sugar and fat, like ice cream, right? So there's sugar and there's fat and ice cream, right? So it's kind of like your own little ice cream factory there. It's like, and it's meant to be that way because our ancestors didn't get to eat all the time. And so they had to have an organ that was ready to go at any given time for survival to make your fats and sugars, or you would die. So, yeah, so when you eat those things, they get stored there, and then your body has all the components to make that itself. So it seems kind of crazy because we think, how do people fast for 40 days and 40 nights? It's like your body has an amazing ability for survival. And actually, if you have something called fatty liver and they tell you that, they just pass it off. I've had people come to me and their liver enzymes have been like elevated like 10 or 20 times normal. And they'll say, oh, my doctor just told me it was fatty liver. It was no big deal. It was nothing. I'm like, okay, it is like having a factory. Because remember, your liver makes all these hormones and converts all these hormones and does 30 different things that we're talking about tonight. Imagine if you had a factory that was making, I don't know, Barbie dolls, and you took a big concrete truck and instead of concrete, you filled it with just yellow globules of, let's say, or Crisco, let's say, or butter. You just fill this big concrete truck up with that. And you took the chute and you shot it into that whole factory. And all your factory workers are in there covered in Crisco. Do you think they're going to be very happy? Do you think they're going to care a crap about making your estrogen or progesterone or testosterone for you? Do you think they're going to give a crap about your immune system being regulated or making anything for you? It's going to be a very unhealthy metabolism, and it's so sad that doctors like, oh, just fatty liver, no big deal. So how do you get rid of fatty liver? You have to decrease the carbohydrates in your diet. Nobody likes to hear me say that, and it's not fun. But if you can just do it for 8 to 12 weeks, and I'm not talking like straight ketogenic, but like 30 grams of sugar a day for about 2 months. I know it sounds like a while, 2 or 3 months, but if you want to cure your fatty liver, and I'm telling you that it's not a benign condition, it is like, and the doctors are like, oh, just lose weight. No, you need to cut your carbs significantly, and you can get rid of fatty liver. And the cool thing is, when people lose weight, okay, I'm glad, Beth. When people lose weight and you get frustrated because you're like, I cut my sugar grams to 30 grams a day and nothing happened. You know where you lose weight in those first few weeks to months? Yes, in the first few weeks, a lot of it's water weight, but you're losing weight in your liver. You are losing fat in your liver and you are restoring your liver. So you have to be willing to go the course. And that's one of the things that I talk about in my book. And I can't wait. I'm actually, when I'm done, I'm going to give you all like a link to the free download because I can't wait. Y'all are my sisters and I want you to have it. I'm so excited. It's so close. But so if you can just kind of get through the mindset of I'm going to drastically reduce the refined sugar in my diet, just 2 or 3 months, and I'm going to heal my liver, and just realize that whatever's happening, what you can see on the scale or hear, you're actually redistributing. It's still the brain fog, right? I can feel the mucus right now as it is. So, but if you can do that, you're going to give your liver the health that it needs to come back and do what it needs to do to help you. So I know I'm preaching a little bit, and I'm super passionate about the way the liver works. And if you could just be its friend for 2 or 3 months, even though it's not showing on the scale, even though it's not showing in your dress size, it would really give your body a boost for its metabolism, and you'll feel better and your skin will be better. And one of the main ways, if you're wondering if your liver is functioning well, number one is if your hormones are out of whack, it's not. If your blood sugar or your insulin's out of control, it's not. But one of the ways you can tell is the whites of your eyes, because what happens is there's something called bilirubin. Your liver actually makes bile that helps digest your fats. And your eyes will start to get yellowed, so that people think that's kind of like with age. And actually, youth is the whites of your eyes being white, because we think of old people as having just really dark, kind of yellowed eyes. So that tells you that your liver's not healthy if they're kind of yellowed, because that's bilirubin that's building up, which is a part of bile from the liver. Okay, so we talked about mixed fats. And okay, this is kind of interesting. It drives skin health. So there's something called liver acne. I know that sounds really weird. Yeah, bile is an issue for sure. And let's see. Okay, bile's in the very next thing, but I do want to do the liver acne. So if you're having a big problem with acne, nobody ever talks about there. Sometimes they'll say, well, you need to wash your face more, or you need to watch your diet more, or they'll say, it's just too much testosterone, or you just need to go on birth control to help the acne. One of the main reasons that people get acne is because your liver's not healthy. And one of the reasons, especially in younger people, is because, and somebody asked me just a little bit ago, is it possible to have high progesterone and high cholesterol? And it absolutely is, because if things aren't healthy in the liver, then your hormones aren't converting properly. And then you're going to have too much DHT, which is a conversion product of testosterone that causes the acne and the male hair growth, which can then drive ovarian dysfunction or PCOS and things like that. So, what I usually do is just ask people to cut the carbs significantly for a little while and to get their hormones balanced. And I even have girls as young as 17. I just had a 17-year-old today that is the daughter of one of my patients. And we started her on progesterone cream this past week. So that's one of the best things you can do to give your body a break, give that balance back to your body, and take some of the work off the liver because it's got 30 other things to do. Okay, rashes, and they call it, I said liver acne, but if you have rashes or you have dark patches and things like that, that can be a sign that your liver's not working. Okay, bile. Somebody just said bile, and bile is actually something that's made by the liver to digest fats. So it's kind of like if you ever tried to wash a lasagna pan and you didn't have Dawn soap or whatever type of soap, dishwashing soap that you use. So you need those bile salts to break down fats. It's like scrubbing your pan. So that's what bile does. Well, the liver makes bile, and then bile is stored in the gallbladder, a little storage thing, like a little sack. I think of it like on the sink when you have that little pump, and the like pump is like underneath your sink, but all you see is a little spout. You press on the spout, and the soap comes out. That's what your gallbladder is down there, and so the liver actually refills your little soap dispenser. And so what happens is because your liver is also processing your hormones and your cholesterol, estrogen, little silly little uncontrolled problem teenager estrone. She's not a teenager hormone, but she's a little wild child that likes to cause trouble. That particular estrone actually can accumulate in the gallbladder and cause a sluggish gallbladder. They call it sludge, and even stones. And cholesterol, gallstones are actually made out of estrogen. So when you have too much estrone and you don't have that balance, you're prone to gallstones and sludge. And having your gallbladder out is neck and neck with hysterectomy. So I think it's like 600,000 procedures a year are done in the US. And it's having your gallbladder out and your uterus out. It is nuts because they are so connected. And it's just like, are you kidding me? Like, why don't we just fix the hormones? But that would make too much sense, right? And it wouldn't make as much money for the people who have the most to gain. So anyway, okay, I digress. Okay, your liver is a blood bank that stores 10% of your blood, or about a quart and a half. So if you get an injury to your liver or you're bleeding out, if it hits your liver, you're a goner because the liver is storing all this blood. So it's just like a big, big sponge. It's a master chemist. It makes over 500 chemicals and enzymes, and those are chemicals that can stop bleeding. Those are your clotting factors. That's your immunity, and the enzymes that convert your hormones. So, like the things like the aromatase that convert your estrogen and your testosterone and your androgens back and forth. The liver makes all of those. So, it is like a little chemist in there going, okay, what are we going to make today? We're going to make some enzymes. And what kind of enzymes are we going to make? And the interesting thing is, after menopause, when you're in ovarian failure, after you start to, when your ovaries are gone, there's this stuff called adnexal fat that sort of engulfs your ovaries. And, if you've been watching me for a while, I say that on ultrasound, 10 years out from ovarian failure, out from menopause, you can't even detect the the ovaries on ultrasound anymore. And the reason is they shrivel up because they don't have any hormone influence anymore. But they also get engulfed by this stuff called adnexal fat, which is the fat around the ovaries. And you can't really see on ultrasound through that, so you can't really see the structure. But that adnexal fat is calling this all these hormonal chemical messengers that then tell the liver, oh, we need more aromatase. Then aromatase is what kicks in and converts to the cortisol and the belly fat. So I know that's a little convoluted, but the liver is that main chemical production house that's doing all that through those messages that, hey, there's no ovaries here anymore. What the heck are we going to do now? So give it some more, some hormones, right? I know all roads lead back to like hormone bliss, right? Okay, so I'm going to move this board out. Board number 2. Hello. Okay, so hello, Facebook world. Okay, so it also, the liver neutralizes ammonia. And so what is ammonia? Ammonia is, well, you know, you've probably smelled ammonia before, but they use it for cleaning stuff. But your liver makes ammonia. It's a byproduct from toxins. And so alcoholics, when they have too much ammonia and they can't break it down because their liver's like that factory full of, you know, greasy Crisco, then it starts to build up. And so that's why alcoholics who go into cirrhosis and liver failure, if they can't break down their ammonia, that's when they start having the cognitive changes and they talk out of their head and they start really getting confused. And so there's medication you can give them that helps convert that ammonia into urea, which is basically the byproduct of urine when urine comes out. And so that's what happens is you can't clear the ammonia, and ammonia can be toxic and it can cause brain fog. And even people who aren't drinkers, we call that NASH or non-alcoholic steatorrhea, which steo means fat. So people with fatty liver who aren't drinkers can still get brain fog when their ammonia is not able to convert because your factory's full of Crisco, like all over your workers and stuff. So the liver is one reason that people get brain fog as well. Okay, it makes cholesterol. It makes 80% of your cholesterol. So any doctor who's fussing at you about changing your diet because your cholesterol's too high that's nuts, because your doctor should be yelling at your liver, not you, because it's your liver doing it. It's not the cookies, it's your liver. Now, the cookies, absolutely, you're taking those in and you're eating a lot of sugar and you're putting a lot of stress on your liver for sure. But your liver is using that cholesterol that it's making 80% to make your other hormones and to do all these other things and to provide energy for you. So again, we'll do cholesterol tomorrow night, I promise. Cholesterol is not a fatty globule ready to cause a heart attack. Cholesterol is needed by every cell in your body. So so enough about that. So there's something called detox, which is phase 1 and phase 2. A lot of times when people hear detox, they go to this, oh, is that cabbage soup diet and a bunch of laxatives for a week? You know, because you just think, I just got to cleanse myself, right? I'm not talking about like a body cleanse. I'm talking about literally 2 different, very specific phases that your liver does. And so phase 1 is actually where your liver breaks down toxins. And then phase 2 is it actually turns those toxins into soluble water so that it can actually be released from the fatty substances and either secreted through the urine or through the bile. And when it gets secreted through the bile, it comes out through feces. So those toxins actually get broken down. So it's not only does the liver make all this stuff, the liver breaks down stuff as well. And the liver actually recognizes that little problematic sister hormone called estrone. It actually recognizes her and says, get out of here. We don't need you. We don't need you causing trouble. And so what happens is after ovarian failure, if you have too much estrone built up because you have too much fat in the the visceral fat around the belly and too much cortisol and inflammation, now you have just this perfect storm for an increase in all sorts of cancers, including breast cancer, because now estrone is just running the show, and you don't have estradiol and estriol to do the balance, to have the fire blanket, and to do all the things that your body needs to run the factory of the whole body. Okay, and so there's also a process in here called methylation. And some night we're going to do genetics, but methylation, MTHFR. If you are interested in the methylation, MTHFR stuff, just send me a DM or put in the comments here, and I'll make sure to go back and send you a link to that. I don't have it in my downloads in the link in bio yet. I thought we had posted that the other day, but I don't see it. So if you want, I'll send you that. But that's fascinating. And very soon, one of these nights, we're going to do all things genetics, because the liver is very fascinating, and how some people make certain hormones and some people do this and some people do that is just so cool. Okay, your liver actually makes vitamin D. So you take D1. Okay, Jan. Yeah, you might have to DM me because I don't know if I'm going to see that. So just direct message me, and I'll make sure that I get that to you. So your liver, your skin takes D1, vitamin D through the skin, and it goes to the kidneys and it converts to D2, and then it goes to to the liver for D2, and then to the kidneys for D3. And that's why we take D3, because we need that final conversion. So the liver actually does your vitamin D conversion to the pre-active form. Your liver makes proteins like albumin and globulins, and those actually serve for your immune system, but also serve as your sort of, we call it osmolarity, but it helps your blood pressure, because it's like it makes carrier proteins for your hormones. So they're like Ubers or taxis, but it also helps regulate the pressure in the blood vessels, because it pulls fluid in and it pulls fluid out. So the liver makes that stuff. And the liver makes clotting factors. So if you have like a clotting disease, or where you bleed out, or hemophilia, or if you have clotting diseases where you make blood clots, and this is why birth control is so dangerous. Synthetic hormones are so dangerous. I'm not telling you to stop your birth control. I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that they are clearly synthetic hormones that get processed through your liver. If you're going to do birth control at all, the synthetic hormones, make sure it's a patch or a vaginal ring or something. But anyway, if synthetic hormones go through your liver and the clotting factors are made in your liver, you are going to have a risk of blood clots in your legs. And so that's part of the reason why doctors tell patients that you can't take hormones for more than 2 years, because like it increases your risk of clots. Yes, if it's synthetic and it's going through your liver, it absolutely does. So that's where the madness comes of, you have to beg your doctor for hormones after menopause when you have none. And it's like, if you didn't have a thyroid, why would you have to beg your doctor for thyroid hormone? Or why would you have to beg your doctor to check your levels? That just wouldn't make sense at all. But that's why, because we have this box of information that says, yes, oral synthetic hormones are dangerous, so don't take them very long. But then we have over here this box where this is life-saving, this is life-changing. Let's take some bioidentical hormones through a transdermal route. Totally different, totally different. Okay. So your liver stores iron, so you don't drop your iron out. And sometimes people have genetic conditions where they make too much iron, called hemochromatosis. So there's this genetic component that's regulating. Hi, Constantina. There's this genetic component that's regulating your iron storage. So very important. Iron is important for energy. Iron is important for blood flow, carrying oxygen on the red blood cells. The liver constantly spawns. I think about, like, my son loves to play Minecraft. I don't know if you guys play Minecraft or your kids play Minecraft or anything, but there's this thing, and he's like, Mom, they're spawning. And I'm like, what is spawning? I don't even know what that means. But it literally means that it makes its own structure, like in Minecraft, where it's making building blocks. It literally regenerates. It's the only organ that can regenerate. You can take out 95% of your liver and you'll regrow a new liver. It's just unbelievable what the liver can do. Okay, it stores up to 400 calories for you. So if you're starving, your liver's going to give you energy. It balances your mood because it breaks down serotonin, dopamine, and cortisol. And in the Chinese culture, with like acupuncture and stuff, they recognize the liver as your anger and anxiety organ. I think that's fascinating because anxiety and stuff comes when you can't break down dopamine and you have too much cortisol. So it's your mood balancing organ on many, many levels, not to even mention your hormones. So it regulates stress too because it produces cortisol as well. And it converts fat or stress fat into or stores fat into fatty acids to be used for energy. It makes something called ketones. So, and that's part of why fatty liver can be fixed by a low sugar diet because they call it the keto diet, right? Because you have lowered the sugar and now your liver's forced to make ketones for energy, which is what it does from these fatty acids. Your liver produces heat, so it's very thermogenic, and that's where your metabolism comes from. So you have to have a healthy liver if you're going to burn calories. People think of food as calories as a unit of mass, and that's one of the worst things I think that ever happened in our educational base as far as dieting and losing weight was that they like equated calories with food almost like it was the weight of something, like it was a unit of mass and not energy. And so the calories, the burning energy that it takes to process or break down that food is very different for an apple than it is for a Snickers bar. So we should reframe that. And there's actually a lot of literature that says that did us a real disservice because we should be looking at nutrient dense foods, not of calories, because you could eat Snickers bars all day and stay under 1,500 calories. I mean, not all day, but you could eat 1,500 calories worth of Snickers bars and never lose a pound and still be like calorie restricted, right? So it's a totally different thing. Okay. And then there's something called Kupffer cells in the liver that is a big part of your immune system. And so if your liver's not functioning, you're more likely to get sick, you're more likely to get cancer, you're more likely to get inflammatory diseases and autoimmune. It's nutrient dense for sure. Okay, and then the liver regulates blood pressure through something called angiotensinogen, which then takes that chemical and then goes through the liver. And then through the kidneys, they're angiotensin. And so if you've ever been on something like lisinopril or a blood pressure medication like that, it's actually working through a liver communication pathway with the kidneys to regulate all these things like the albumins and the space occupying osmolarity in the blood vessels. So you have to, if you have a healthy liver, you can get off blood pressure meds. And I'm not telling anybody to stop your blood pressure meds, but if you have a healthy liver, all of these things get better. And so that's why they say even losing just 5 to 15 pounds, you can get off blood pressure meds because you're actually clearing out the fat in this very, very important organ. Okay, and then it regulates varicose veins, hemorrhoids, and portal veins because there's this huge thing called the portal vein where the liver comes out and it distributes into the lower legs and into the rectal area. And so, if you are prone to getting hemorrhoids, you have a problem with the backflow in that portal vein. So, if you have varicose veins in your legs or you have hemorrhoids, that means you have a liver problem and probably some portal congestion. So that's a whole nother talk for another night. And then breaks down alcohol is number 30. So that's kind of a given. We all know that the liver is important for breaking down alcohol if you drink alcohol. So a healthy liver, and that's one of the reasons after menopause that we can have chemical sensitivities because our liver is so busy doing so many other things. Oh, my hair's like going crazy. So many other things that now it can't clear toxins and it can't do all the things that it needs to do. So Is the liver not the most fascinating thing ever? I mean, it's like, I know God doesn't make one organ that's more important than another one. And I could do a whole talk on the spleen. I could do a whole talk on the eyeball. I mean, they're all super important, but the liver is very, very, very vital. Great life. Yes, Amy, I'll repost it. I try to repost them every um, night. Spleen, yes, every night, and it takes me like an hour to upload, download, and then repost. So I try to do it. But if you go to my Facebook, Instagram, or what's the other one? YouTube. They're all there, so you can go watch them, and you don't have to wait for me to repost as well. You're so welcome, Mel and Connie. Oh, you guys are so precious, Elaine. So I want to leave you with, if you have trouble getting your hormones balanced and you want to make your liver healthy and you want us to work with you, our coaches want to work with you. And I know it's so hard to get doctors to listen to you and to understand these things. And, they just marginalize you and make you feel like you're crazy. And I have women that for years and years and years have begged their doctors to get help and to help them understand things, because knowledge is power. And the word doctor means to teach. And if your doctor's not teaching you and they're just pushing meds at you, they're doing you a great, great disservice. Oh, you're so welcome, Sherry. Um, so yeah, if you have any problems, go to Hormone Bliss. That's our website. You can go to my link in bio and you can order a test kit. And it's a little over $100. And with the TikTok 20 code at checkout, we take $20 off of it. So go get a kit, see what your levels are doing. This is so awesome because you get it at, yay, Sharon, I love it. You got your kit. I love it. So you go in and all you do is you fill out this questionnaire. And it's funny because all of these questions on here, Connie, well, they're all my protocols. So working with our coaches, like you get me, and then in the program too, I'm going on the lives, and so you can ask me all the questions you want, and I'll do anything I can to make sure you guys get balanced. That's my commitment. We have so many people in the program. I wish I could like be everybody's doctor, but if you do want to come to Arkansas, you absolutely can. Okay, so all these symptoms, sleep disturbances, and like high cholesterol and triglyceride imbalances. So all of this is liver. So that's all how this ties in. But we look at all this, and then this is a simple saliva test. You just fill the tube, you send it in, free shipping to you, and then free shipping to the lab. And then one of our coaches will get on the phone with you. And then I'm in Northwest Arkansas. And then we get to see what your levels are, and then all my protocols are written for your adjustments, and we listen to you. I always tell my coaches, this is about you, it's not about numbers. So there may be adjustments that we need to have, that we need to tweak things, or we need to up one or down the other one. And if you need to lose weight, and you lose weight and your liver's starting to clear things better, then you might need adjustments too. So that's what we're there for, is to help you with those adjustments and get it right. And then the next step is to get you on the right bioidenticals. We also make supplement recommendations. So I didn't even go into all the supplements for liver health, but Tacoma, if you're still there, Tacoma and I always do our dandelion tea at night, but I was so busy running from work and my brain fog being sick, I didn't even make my dandelion tea, but I'm about to get ready to go do that. So yeah, so go to Hormone Bliss, order you a test kit, just find out what's going on. If doctors have been gaslighting you or telling you, it's not your hormones, or, you need to just lose weight. There's a lot more to the story, and your liver is a really big, important part of that. Okay, I love you all very much. Please have a blessed night. I'm here every night at 7, as long as I still have a voice. I think God was gifted me with, after talking all day in clinic, to still have a voice for you guys tonight. So anyway, okay, again, I love you very much, and I'll see you here tomorrow night at 7, every night at 7. Okay, bye guys.